Friends, our reading this morning is called Morning Poem by Mary Oliver. Every morning the world is created. Under the orange sticks of the sun, the heaped ashes of the night turn into leaves again and fasten themselves to the high branches. And the ponds appear like black cloth on which are painted islands of summer lilies. If it is your nature to be happy, you will swim away along the soft trails for hours, your imagination alighting everywhere. And if your spirit carries within it the thorn that is heavier than lead, if it's all you can do to keep on trudging, there is still somewhere deep within you a beast shouting that the earth is exactly what it wanted. Each pond with its blazing lilies is a prayer heard and answered lavishly every morning, whether or not you ever dared to be happy, whether or not you ever dared to pray. One night, a woman left church after an hours-long social justice meeting. And she left feeling a level of exhaustion and discouragement that bordered on despair. You see, she'd been working with this same group of folks for many years now, good people. She loved them dearly and was committed to the cause they shared, but she was discouraged. Discouraged that they rarely seemed to accomplish anything in these long meetings. Discouraged by the conflict and infighting that often broke out among this group. And discouraged that after all the meetings and all the organizing and all the protests, a whole lifetime of them, after all that work, things didn't seem to be getting any better, right? For all that work, we never seemed to be moving the needle on injustice. At least that's how it felt to her that night. Did you ever feel discouraged like that? Yeah. When the woman arrived home that night, her husband and children were already upstairs in bed. Unable to sleep, she sat down in the dark at her piano, and after some silence, began to pick out a tune on the keyboard. Slowly, she built a melody that seemed to capture what she was feeling, and words that gave voice to a yearning inside her, a yearning born of equal parts hope and despair. And by the time she went to bed that night, Carolyn McDade had completed her song and given it a title, Spirit of Life, the hymn we sang just a few minutes ago during our prayers. Since that night, McDade's hymn has taken on a life of its own. At first, it just circulated informally among Unitarian churches. Then it found its way into our gray hymnal, number 123. Today, 40 years after she wrote it, Spirit of Life is one of the most familiar and beloved hymns in Unitarian Universalism. In many congregations, including ours, it's sung every Sunday. But this morning, I want to peel back all that history and take us back to the hymn's origins. I want to remind us of the circumstances and the sense of urgency that first shaped the creation of this hymn. And above all, I want us to think of this hymn as not a hymn, but a prayer. When a journalist once asked her how she wrote Spirit of Life, McDade replied, "I didn't write it. I prayed it into being." It's a prayer, a heartfelt prayer that emerged from a moment not unlike what many of us are feeling right now, a moment when our hopes for a better world feel fragile, right? When discouragement and despair knock at our window pane. I want to invite us to hear in her prayer an echo of our own prayer. And maybe by considering this hymn prayer, we can learn something about how prayer can help us through a difficult time. How do we pray when our hearts are breaking and our souls are cast down? So let's consider this prayer, shall we? Imagine, if you will, Carolyn McDade sitting at her piano that night after that meeting. We've all been in one of those meetings, right? Right? Feeling tired and discouraged and alone. And so slowly a prayer forms on her lips. And the very first words that come to her are, Spirit of Life, come. Come unto me. Let's pause right there. We call this a beckoning prayer, a prayer that invites the Spirit to be present with us. Please come, be with us. The beckoning prayer is the simplest and most fundamental prayer there is. It's the prayer. Before our ancestors ever asked for God to save them, or deliver their people, or bring them a bountiful harvest, before we cheapened God by asking him to sanction our empire, or win our football game on a Sunday afternoon, before any of that, we just wanted God to be with us. Come. In 2 weeks, Christians begin their celebration of Advent singing, O come, Emmanuel. Another beckoning prayer. Emmanuel is Hebrew for God with us. When was the last time you prayed this simple prayer? When was the last time you invited the Spirit or pleaded with the Spirit to simply be near, to be with you? That's what Carolyn McDade asks in her prayer, Spirit of Life. Come unto me, be with me, please. I've been asking this a lot lately too. You see, a beckoning prayer is an implicit confession that sometimes we feel alone, and that on our own, we are insufficient to meet the challenges we face. We need help. We need support from sources of strength beyond ourselves. And so we cry out, come, be with me. It's the simplest prayer. But if answered, it's the richest. McDade's Spirit of Life shares this beckoning quality with Thomas Dorsey's gospel hymn, Precious Lord, which the choir sang just now. It's another hymn that's really a prayer. a prayer born of loss and sorrow. Dorsey wrote, "Precious Lord," the night he learned the devastating news that both his wife and newborn son had died during childbirth. He was out of town playing a gig. Dorsey's prayer begins, "Precious Lord, take my hand. Hold my hand." Notice how these two prayers begin with such intimate gestures. Come, be with me, hold my hand. In another verse, Dorsey asks, "Precious Lord, linger near. Don't go. Please stay." The God these prayers address is clearly not some distant God in a cloud, is it? But more like a faithful friend who sits with us when we're tired and weak and worn, a friend who holds our hand and lingers by our side. When have you felt the intimate presence of the Spirit in your life? Where do you find that presence? What does it feel like? A mentor once shared with me that there had been a time in his life when he didn't pray, but that now he prayed faithfully every day. And I asked him, "Well, what made you change?" And he said, "It's simple. At one point, my life brought me to my knees, and all I could do was cry out in prayer. I knew that if I didn't, I wouldn't make it." Maybe this is why in churches and mosques and synagogues, prayers are ritually offered on bended knee, because the very first prayers our ancestors uttered were a cry for help when the world had brought them to their knees. When life brings you to your knees and you don't know what to say or what to pray, maybe you've never uttered a prayer before in your life, then start simple. Start here. Come. Be with me. Take my hand. It's not asking a lot of God, but maybe in the end, this is exactly what we need from our God. We may not need a mighty God who delivers us. Instead of salvation, maybe what we need from our God is simply solidarity, accompaniment. Come, be with me. Take my hand. I have a little more I want to say, but first I'd like us to sing Spirit of Life together, and to sing it as if we were praying it. Imagine you pray it this time and see how it feels. Notice which verses feel most resonant with your own spirit. And Julian, we're going to take it slower than we took it the first time through, okay? Yeah. Like a prayer. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings we can think of McDade's prayer as a litany of sorts, a litany of the ways that the Spirit of life shows up and draws near to her. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Right? Sometimes we feel the Spirit's presence within us, in our hearts, our minds, our conscience. Sing in my heart. I love the idea of a God who sings to us. What a warm and intimate form of communication, singing like a merry Pied Piper whom our hearts can't help but follow. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, right? Spirit, be near us in the power and beauty of the natural world, not least on this cold, clear, late autumn morning in New England. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Here is a God that is our partner in the work for justice. Our hands alone are not enough, but if the Spirit works through us, if the Spirit works through the movements that we build, then we have a chance, right? Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Make us instruments of your peace and your justice. Roots hold me close, binding me to all I hold dear. Strong, upright feet firmly planted in the ground. And wings set me free, liberating me from all that's holding me back or holding me down, allowing me to embrace the future with courage and grace. Spirit of life, come to me. Come. There's a lot more to unpack about the theology of Spirit of life, and I'm going to have to save that for another sermon. Maybe over coffee hour you can share with others which verse resonates the most with you. I want to close on a slightly different question. People sometimes ask me, Rob, why do we sing Spirit of Life every Sunday? Can't we mix it up a bit? Well, maybe we can. All right. That's right. But there's a good reason to sing it every Sunday, too. That truth was driven home to me when a colleague, another minister, shared with me a harrowing story from her church. One Sunday, a family was walking home from church when their little boy was struck by a car. When my colleague heard the news, she rushed to the scene to find the parents piling into an ambulance to take their son to the hospital. He would be okay in the end. But the little boy's older sister, maybe 9 or 10, my colleague found her sitting on the sidewalk near the scene of the accident. And she was hugging her knees and rocking herself back and forth and singing over and over again, Spirit of Life. They just sung it in church that morning. They sang it every morning. It's a prayer the little girl knew by heart. It's no small thing if our children leave this meeting house with at least one prayer they know by heart. And us too. Because sometimes when the chips are down and life brings us to our knees, it's even too much to summon a simple prayer like, come. We need at least one prayer on our hearts, a prayer that lives so deeply inside us that we needn't summon it consciously, that it comes unbidden when we need it the most. I can't tell you how many times I've been asked to sing Spirit of Life with a congregant lying in the hospital bed, or with a family standing around the hospice bed, or with a congregant who can't get to church anymore but wants to remember what it felt like. Our shared prayer brings not only the succor of its melody and lyrics, but also the strength and solidarity of this community who sing it together Sunday after Sunday. Spirit of life, come to me. Come to us. Be near us now more than ever. Amen.